What if the reason your life isn't changing isn't because you don't earn enough, but because you don't control what you earn? Think about that. Every month money comes in, and somehow it disappears. Bills, habits, impulses, they quietly take over, leaving you wondering where it all went. But what if you could flip that script? What if instead of money controlling you, you controlled your income with precision, intention, and purpose? This is not just about budgeting, this is about power. The power to decide where your life goes, the power to build something that lasts. Because the truth is simple, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, grow, and direct. In this video, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Jim Rohn, you'll discover how mastering your income can transform every area of your life, from your mindset to your future. If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're running in circles financially, this message is for you. Stay with me until the end, because one idea, just one, could completely change how you see money and your life. Lesson 1. Income is a reflection of mindset. The most profound realization a person can have regarding their financial life is that their bank account is a trailing indicator of their personal growth. Jim Rohn, the legendary mentor to millions, famously stated that if someone hands you $1 million, you had better hurry up and become a millionaire in spirit and skill, or you will surely lose the money. This is because income is rarely something you pursue, rather it is something you attract by the person you become. If you are operating with a fixed mindset, believing your abilities and earning potential are capped by your circumstances, your boss, or the economy, you have effectively placed a ceiling on your life that no amount of hard work can break through. Developing a wealth-oriented mindset requires a radical shift from being a consumer of value to a producer of value. Most people spend their days asking what the world can give them, whereas those with high-income mindsets ask what they can give the world. This shift is the catalyst for the development of high-value skills. When you commit to becoming more valuable to the marketplace naturally responds by compensating you more highly. However, this growth isn't just about technical skill, it's about the psychological fortitude to endure failure, the discipline to study when others are sleeping, and the emotional intelligence to navigate complex human networks. Your internal world, your beliefs about what you deserve and what is possible, governs your external results. One must also confront the scarcity versus abundance dichotomy. A scarcity mindset views the world as a pie of a fixed size. If someone else gets a large slice, there is less for you. This leads to envy, playing small, and a fear of risk. Conversely, an abundance mindset understands that value is created, not just divided. When you cultivate an abundance mindset, you stop seeing other people's success as your loss and start seeing it as a roadmap. You begin to invest in your own education because you realize that your brain is the ultimate appreciating asset. If you can improve your decision-making by just 1% every month, the compounded effect on your income over a decade will be astronomical. Ultimately, your income will always gravitate back to the level of your self-image. This is why lottery winners often go broke within a few years. Their external wealth far exceeded their internal development, and the financial thermostat in their brain worked tirelessly to bring them back to a level of comfort which for them was being broke. To grow your income permanently, you must first grow your character. You must become the kind of person who is capable of managing, keeping, and multiplying wealth. This involves shedding old identities rooted in struggle and adopting a new identity rooted in competence and contribution. Wealth is the harvest, but your mindset is the soil. Lesson 2. Control spending before increasing income. There is a pervasive myth in our culture that a higher salary is the cure for financial stress. We tell ourselves, if only I made an extra $2,000 a month, all my problems would vanish. Yet history and data show that for the vast majority of people, an increase in income is immediately met with a proportional increase in lifestyle creep. This phenomenon occurs because poor financial habits are not solved by capital, they are amplified by it. If you have a hole in your bucket, pouring more water into it doesn't fix the hole, it just wastes more water. Discipline is the only sealant for a leaking financial life, and that discipline must be forged when resources are scarce. Management is a test of stewardship. If an individual cannot manage the complexities of a $1,000 budget, they will be utterly overwhelmed by the complexities of a $10,000 or $100,000 budget. Small-scale mismanagement usually involves impulse buys and lack of tracking. Large-scale mismanagement involves high-interest debt, leveraged lifestyle assets that lose value, and crushing tax liabilities. By mastering the art of spending control early on, you build the financial muscle required to handle wealth. This doesn't mean living a life of deprivation, but rather a life of intentionality. It is about deciding where your money goes instead of wondering where it went. The danger of increasing income without controlling spending is that it creates a golden cage. When your expenses rise to meet your new salary, you become more dependent on your job than ever before. You cannot afford to take risks, you cannot afford to quit a toxic environment, and you cannot afford to pivot into a new industry because your overhead requires every cent of your high paycheck. In this state, you aren't wealthy, you are just a high-consumption pauper. True financial power comes from the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The wider that gap, the more options you have. By keeping your expenses low while your income rises, you create the dry powder necessary to capitalize on investment opportunities. Control starts with the psychological realization that most spending is an attempt to signal status to people we don't even like. When we decouple our self-worth from our outward displays of consumption, we regain control of our financial destiny. We begin to value freedom over things. This shift allows us to view every dollar not as a token for a temporary dopamine hit, but as a freedom fighter that can be sent out to work for us. Controlling your spending is the foundational act of self-respect that proves to yourself and to the universe that you are ready for more. Lesson 3: Pay yourself first. The concept of paying yourself first is perhaps the most vital rule of wealth ever devised, yet it is the one most frequently ignored. Most people follow a standard linear path: earn money, pay the landlord, pay the utility company, pay the grocer, and then if there is anything left over, put a little into savings. The problem is that there is almost never anything left over. Human nature and Parkinson's law dictate that our expenses will expand to use up all available resources. To build wealth, you must flip the script. You must treat your future self as your most important creditor and pay that person before anyone else gets a single dime. This practice is not merely about accounting. It is a psychological statement of priority. When you pay yourself first, you are saying that your long-term security and freedom are more important than the immediate demands of the world. Even if you can only start with 5% or 10% of your income, the act of doing it consistently builds a wealth-building identity. Over time, you stop viewing this money as gone and start viewing it as working. This capital becomes your seed corn. If a farmer eats all his seeds, he has no crop next year. By paying yourself first, you are ensuring that you always have seeds to plant for the coming seasons of your life. To make this effective in the modern world, automation is your greatest ally. We are biologically wired to spend what we see. By setting up an automatic transfer that moves a portion of your paycheck into an investment or savings account before you even see it, you remove the element of willpower from the equation. Willpower is a finite resource that fails us when we are tired, stressed, or tempted. Automation, however, never gets tired. It ensures that the first fruits of your labor are dedicated to your financial independence, forcing you to be creative and disciplined with the remaining 90% of your income to cover your living expenses. The long-term result of paying yourself first is the magic of compounding. When you consistently carve out a piece of your income and put it into productive assets, those assets begin to earn their own money. Eventually, the money your money makes will exceed the money you make from your labor. This is the crossover point, the ultimate goal of financial planning. But you can never reach this point if you are always the last person in line to get paid. You must be first. You must be relentless. You must protect your capital with the same ferocity that a business protects its profits, because your personal life is in many ways the most important business you will ever manage. Lesson 4: Turn income into assets. Income is the fuel, but assets are the engine. Many people spend their entire lives working for income, only to realize at the end that they have nothing to show for it but a collection of depreciating assets like cars, clothes, and electronics. The fundamental difference between the wealthy and the working class is that the wealthy use their income to buy assets that generate more income, while everyone else uses their income to buy liabilities they think are assets. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out. To achieve true wealth, you must become an obsessive collector of income-producing vehicles. There are several categories of assets one can build, starting with the most important, your own skills. In the early stages of a career, the best asset you can invest in is your ability to earn. By spending income on books, courses, and coaching, you increase your human capital. Once your income exceeds your needs, you can pivot into paper assets like stocks and bonds, or hard assets like real estate. Each of these assets acts as a money tree. While you are sleeping, your stocks are growing, your properties are appreciating, and your businesses are serving customers. This is the only way to break the time for money trap that keeps most people in a state of perpetual labor. The transition from an income earner to an asset owner requires a change in how you perceive a dollar bill. A person focused on income sees a dollar as something to be traded for a candy bar or a coffee. A person focused on assets sees a dollar as a worker. They realize that if they spend that dollar, that worker is gone forever. But if they invest that dollar into an asset, that worker will eventually bring back friends, interest, dividends, or rent. Over years of disciplined investing, you build an army of workers that can eventually support your entire lifestyle. This is the definition of financial sovereignty, when your assets provide enough cash flow to cover your expenses. Furthermore, building assets provides a level of security that a paycheck never can. A job can be lost in an afternoon due to a corporate merger, a market crash, or a technological shift. However, a diversified portfolio of assets ranging from equity in companies to intellectual property provides a safety net that spans multiple industries and economies. You stop being a victim of the job market and start becoming a participant in the global economy. Turning income into assets is the process of buying back your life, one share, one property, and one skill at a time. It is the bridge between being a servant of money and being a master of it. Lesson 5. Discipline creates freedom. In our modern world, discipline is often viewed as a dirty word, synonymous with restriction, boredom, and the denial of pleasure. We are told to live in the moment and treat ourselves. However, this is a shallow interpretation of happiness. True freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want in the moment. It is the power to do what is best for your long-term self. Financial discipline, the ability to say no to a temporary craving so you can say yes to a future of independence, is the ultimate form of self-love. Without discipline, you are a slave to your impulses, your creditors, and your employer. With discipline, you are the architect of your own destiny. The irony of discipline is that it feels heavy at first but becomes lighter over time. When you first start tracking every penny, automated saving, and studying investments, it feels like an exhausting chore. But as the results begin to compound, the weight shifts. You no longer worry about an unexpected car repair because you have an emergency fund. You no longer feel the Sunday night blues because you know you have enough assets to walk away if you chose to. The discipline that once felt like a cage has actually built the walls of a fortress that protects you from the volatility of the world. You have traded the easy life of the present for the powerful life of the future. Discipline also creates the freedom of time. Most people are forced to trade their most precious resource, their hours, for the money they need to survive. This is the ultimate form of bondage. By exercising discipline in your finances, you are essentially buying time. Every dollar you save and invest represents a minute or an hour in the future where you do not have to work for someone else. Eventually, you can reach a point of optionality where you work because you want to, not because you have to. This allows you to pursue your passions, spend time with your family, and contribute to your community on your own terms. Ultimately, the path to freedom is paved with the bricks of daily habits. It is the discipline to keep learning when you're tired, the discipline to stay invested when the market is crashing, and the discipline to maintain your lifestyle even when your peers are upgrading theirs. Wealth is not a destination you reach, it is a byproduct of a disciplined life. When you master your money, you master your life. You gain the freedom to be who you truly are, unencumbered by the stress of survival. Discipline is the price of admission to the life of your dreams, and while the price is high, the cost of regret, looking back on a life of missed opportunities and financial struggle, is infinitely higher. Controlling your income is not about limitation, it's about liberation. It's about deciding that your future will not be left to chance, habits, or circumstances. Every dollar you earn carries potential. The question is, will you direct it or will it disappear? Jim Rohn's philosophy reminds us that success is not a mystery, it's a method, a series of small, consistent actions that lead to extraordinary results over time. When you take control of your income, you begin to take control of your life. You stop reacting and start designing. Imagine a life where money is no longer a source of stress but a tool for growth. A life where your efforts compound, your discipline pays off, and your vision becomes reality. That life is not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone willing to change their approach. Start today, not tomorrow, not next month, today. Take one step, make one decision, build one habit. Because the moment you control your income is the moment you begin to transform your life.